how much of one's identity is a consequence of their surroundings? Does this then justify bad behaviour?
That's a really good question. Because one of the things that we're increasingly aware of is the person we have become is influenced, isn't it, by the society that we live in, by the parents that we have, by the people around us, by the card that we've been dealt with, if you want to use that analogy in life. And actually, we can't ignore that. Like, that is true. Like, part of who I am is caused by things outside of my control that I didn't decide. But there's a subtle but major difference between saying I am influenced by factors outside of my control and saying I am nothing more than the sum of factors outside of my control. And actually, it's a very dehumanizing thing to say that all of the things that I do are simply the result of my genetics or my environment, ultimately. But it's something we like to do, don't we? Particularly when we do things wrong. When we do things wrong, we're quick to say, but it wasn't really me, it was my parents. Or it wasn't really me, it was just like my upbringing. Have you ever noticed when people do things good, they don't do that? So when someone wins Olympic gold, and someone says, you did so well, they don't say, just happened to have really good genes. No, they probably did have good genes. They didn't have flat feet like me anyway. But they also worked incredibly hard. There was a combination of factors outside of their control and factors within their control. And I think the reality is we're a combination of both. There are some things we can't change. But that's not to say there aren't anything we can't change. And it's a tremendously liberating thing to realise actually that we do have real choices in terms of the people we become. And that has a positive side, because it means that we can be credited for the good things we do, but it has a negative side, doesn't it? It means we're also responsible for the bad things that we do. Thankfully, it's not the end of the story, because the Christian faith says even at that point, there is a God who's willing to forgive us for those choices that we've made and give us a fresh start.